it is the one-year anniversary of President Trump retaking the White House, and we are broadcasting today from the White House complex. We have great guests lined up for you, including the guy sitting right next to me, Dr. J. Bhattacharya, who's the director of the National Institute of Health. Doc, welcome to the Scott Jennings Show.
Scott, thanks for having me on. It's an absolute honor.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we're glad you're in your job because, and this is where I want to start, it seems to me that one of the big jobs that you had when you took this appointment from President Trump was to rebuild public confidence in the public health regime. After COVID, a lot of people had a lot of questions, and a lot of people thought they were lied to and misled. What did you find when you arrived, and how have you tackled that important issue?
I mean, first, you're absolutely right. I mean, the school closures, the mask mandates, you remember the plexiglass everywhere, none of that did anything, and other than like cause us all distress. And we had among the highest all-cause excess death rates in the world during COVID. But science is still important. Science is still central to if it's functioning well. It does cures. So what we've done is we've refocused the NIH on things that actually matter for the American people. We got rid of all the DEI. That was a huge lift because people had to sign essentially DEI loyalty oaths inside the NIH. Got rid of that. Got rid of the funding for the DEI. And it's still going to the courts that were involved.
And what does that mean? Does that mean science was being wrapped around DEI regulations instead of being the preeminent issue in the department?
I mean, basically, it's a question of mission. The mission is to is to do research that extends life and cures people, right? That's the mission. The mission had extended to solving social justice problems. A lot of the research agenda focused on documenting differences and attributing it to systemic racism, differences in race and certain outcomes. Instead, now we're saying it's for everybody, whether you're black, white, whatever. We're going to focus on research that makes you healthier.
So on that front, one of the big announcements from the Trump administration and the MAHA agenda has been around the dietary guidelines, which just came out. Your NIH was very instrumental in putting this together. What should Americans know about the new dietary guidelines?
Well, it's a huge sea change, Scott. It puts eating healthy food, eating real food at the core of the dietary guidelines. It restores the science that underlies the new dietary guidelines has been looked at for years, and yet it never came to the public consciousness. Like, so for instance, dietary fat. Remember how fat was bad for you?
I remember.
You remember how eggs were bad for you?
I remember.
The science...
And you're talking to a chicken farmer, and I know that's not true. Eggs are good for you. It's nature's superfood.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like, I grew up, our family was scared of eggs.
Yeah.
I didn't have an egg till I was in college.
Oh my goodness gracious!
And then it was like egg whites. They were terrible, Scott.
Yeah, I know.
And it was because
go for the whole egg. That's my advice.
That's what I eat now. They're superfood. They're fantastic.
So dietary guidelines is a big accomplishment of year one at the NIH. Let me ask you about year two. You are working on something called the replication crisis. You mentioned this to me earlier, and I'm going to be candid with you. I've not heard of this, but this is a big issue going on in the background that the American public needs to know about. Yeah,
so it turns out a lot of science that we fund, not just science generally, including biological sciences, people publish papers and top journals, but it turns out that when independent people look at it, it doesn't replicate, doesn't that same thing. You don't find the same thing. That actually was the core of the trust crisis during COVID. You had authority determining what was true or false in physical reality, rather than sort of independent scientists looking at the same thing. We're going to change that. We're going to fix that with the NIH. We're going to fund people to check the science of other people, and we're going to make replication the core basis of truth rather than authority.
How do you think things are going? We've got about a minute and a half here. What do you think? How do you think things are going out there with research? I mean, there's been a lot of conversation the last year about research going on in universities, funding for research, what kind of research is being done. What's the relationship between NIH and all these researchers out there who are, doing what you said you want to do, which is try to get to cures, try to make people healthier?
I mean, that's the NIH is the single most important biomedical research institute support in the world. It sets the direction for scientific research. When you had an NIH that was focused on DEI, focused on dangerous gain-of-function work, focused on really ideological crusades, it went astray. Under President Trump and Secretary Kennedy, we're now focused on research that advances the health and longevity of the American people. It's a world of difference. We're taking taking authority. Just because I say something is true doesn't mean it's true. Instead it's independent scientists looking at the same thing, finding the same answer. That's the key idea that will drive research forward.
That's Dr. Jay Bhattacharya. He is the director of the National Institute of Health, and you've had an eventful year, the dietary guidelines, restoring public confidence from COVID. You've got this replication issue, a lot of research issues out there. I know you've been very busy. We're grateful for you coming by to stop here on the President's one-year anniversary of retaking office.